Mystically Me. This is a space for anyone wanting to connect more with their higher guidance, their intuition, also a space for anyone curious about spiritual and metaphysical topics. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Let's jump in and see what messages want to come through today. As always, we're going to start with the inner child deck, just because that's my favorite. And I do feel that all of us have an inner child inside that needs something from us at this point in our life. So, I hope you're all having, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, wonderful summer. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, a wonderful winter. Okay. I definitely have felt in the last 2 days, I'm not sure if other people have been feeling this, kind of like a lightening of the energy. Not like lightning from a storm, but just it getting lighter out there. Things seemed a little heavy, but it feels like things are lightening up. If you've been experienced that at all, you were feeling the heavy energy and now you're, excuse me, feeling the lighter energy, it would be great to know if you wanted to leave a comment. Okay, so we have got the Wizard, which is number 5 in the major arcana, so that would be the Hierophant. We've got the Big Bad Wolf, which is 15 in the major arcana, that would be the Devil. And one more, let's see. Okay, Guardian of Wands. So, like I've said before, when we have major arcana cards coming through, that for whoever this message is coming through for, this is a bigger time in your life. Maybe, oh, excuse me, dropped one of the cards. uh, it could be a transition. It might be one of those times in life that's one of those major, what am I trying to think of? Major milestones. There we go. So, with the Wizard here, you have so in this deck of cards, and I've talked about this before because this card's come up recently. If any of you are Lord of the Rings fan, Lord of the Rings fan, this card they liken in this deck to Gandalf, that kind of energy and vibe. So if you are a fan of that, um, so he's kind of like a spiritual teacher. This could be a time in your life where either you have found maybe a mentor or some kind of teachings that are really speaking to you. Yeah, that's definitely maybe you found some metaphysical teachings or some, teachings about how our thoughts create our world, things like that, those deeper thinking thoughts. And then, I know a lot of people, hold on, let me get water. When you hear the devil, get worried. That's why I like the big bad wolf. Um, I feel like it softens that edge a little bit, but really what that is so whoever this message is for, you have found some sort of spiritual teaching, some sort of spiritual guidance. Perhaps you have just been connecting with your higher self, your angels, your guides. And one of the things when you get into this place in life and you are seeing the bigger picture, what's hidden behind it all, is we all have a shadow side. I really think Carl Jung, I love his psychology, his way of thinking. So there's these archetypes out there, and you have your archetype and then your shadow. And our shadow is usually the side of ourselves that we don't want anyone to see. It's the side we're embarrassed about. It might be the side of you that gets jealous. Those feelings that come up that you're embarrassed that you have them, but they're like normal human feelings that everybody has sometimes. But a big part of like a spiritual journey or coming into connecting to your higher self is accepting your shadow side and all that goes with that, because it's not good or bad, it's just who we are. We all have things we're working on. There's things about ourselves, like I always come back to jealousy. I don't want to be jealous of other people, but sometimes you see something on social media or I'm in this group right now, this course to improve myself, because I feel like life is always a journey of self knowledge and self improvement. And I'll find myself in these Zoom meetings sometimes getting like, oh, these people are having so much success, they're doing so great, and just this like I'm so excited for them. But then you have that moment of like, well, what about me? Um, so I feel like there's something coming through for someone specifically on this. You've been thinking that a lot lately, like, well, I'm doing all this work, I am trying so hard, what about me? And just remember, take a deep breath. One of the things, oh, hold on, I sorry about that. That is a frequency alarm that I have to go off. Usually I shut those off before recording. Anyway, frequency alarms are great to set on your phone so you can get into like the vibe, the frequency of the life you want. But anyway, back to this. Uh-oh, did I lose my train of thought? Anyway, so yeah, when you have that like shadow side come up, whether it's anger, jealousy, the parts of you you just don't like and want to hide, first of all, hiding them is never gonna fix it. You've got to kind of find a way to integrate it. So going back to that jealousy, the thing is, or the person, sorry, there we go. I got my train of thought back. Apologize. Uh, Divine timing is something that I've always struggled with, just trusting that the universe will make it happen when it's supposed to happen. And I feel for whoever this message is for, that is what your guides are trying to tell you. They know that you have done the work, they have seen it, it's recognized, they're so proud of you. You are coming into another phase of your life where things are going to start happening and lining up and coming in. So just know, keep doing the work. I feel like this is sort of a test, maybe. And don't, not a terrible test, just kind of like you have done this work, you have gotten into a better mindset, you've sort of gotten rid of some negative thinking, some negative habits, and now it's that like phase where you're like, what? I've done it. Where is it? Where is everything that I've been working so hard for? And it's there. It's just that, like, don't fall back into old patterns. Don't fall back into thinking, oh, I'm unworthy. I didn't deserve this. It's never going to happen for me. This is part of the journey. This is just that little last final push just to be sure that you really do know you're worthy. And you do. So just keep focusing on the positive if things are not coming through fast enough, because they are coming. All right. Remember, Mercury's retrograde. That could be slowing things down a little bit. We got a couple more weeks. I think it's the 21st or 22nd of July that will end. If you are watching this when it's going to be posted and recorded actually on the 3rd of July. All right. Sorry for my ice. Okay. So you have found some spiritual guidance, some spiritual teaching, you're doing your studies, you've kind of been engrossed in those for a while. You've gotten to this point where it is about integrating the shadow, not hiding the shadow anymore. So, figuring out a way to just embrace all parts of you, because everyone, we are human beings. We're your souls having a human experience, is kind of what I feel. Infinite beings of light that we are in bodies right now. So, part of being in a human body is having to deal with the human things that some of us think are human qualities that aren't so great. So, you are doing the work, you are doing great. Just keep believing in yourself and don't give up. This is that challenge time where they love to test us. So, you've got this. And then the third card that came up was the Guardian of Wands. And this is one of the archangels. This is Archangel Raphael. So, uh, he is someone you call in when you really need comfort. And if you aren't comfortable with the ideas of angels or archangels, you can just think of, a divine light being, a universal light being, whatever you're comfortable with. So you need to recognize how sensitive you are. So, also, this might be a specific message for someone that has maybe been feeling called to explore maybe some different types of energy work or healing work. Reiki is what's coming through, but I'm also a Reiki master teacher. So, it could just be because when I think of healing work or work with your hands or energy work, I always think of Reiki. But you might have been being guided towards something like that, either to receive the service, or perhaps you are being guided to get into a course about some sort of energy work or healing. And your guides and angels are really saying this is something you should do. You have been told your whole life how powerful your hands are. You might have had grandparents or older members of your family always want you to like give them little massages on their neck when you were a kid. Like, I feel for whoever this message is for. You have done that like your whole life. You've had tons of older relatives being like, oh, can you just come over here and work your magic on my neck a little bit? So, it could be for a very long time other people have sensed, maybe you've even known a little bit inside, but haven't really grasped it because it seems like kind of cool and exciting, that you've noticed some healing power in your hands. So go ahead, look into those courses. If you've never read anything up about Reiki, if you want to say Reiki in the comments, I can give you some information. Of course, there's Google. There's lots of different ways to find out stuff. And there's also tons of different energy works out there that aren't Reiki. So do some exploring. Maybe try to get into a class because you are being guided to something here that is a big part of your future. This is like one of your gifts, and you're going to be able to help a lot of people. So, forever this is for. Look for those classes. Join that class if you've already found it. This is a big moment. This is something that is your gift, and the world needs more of you and your gift. So, oh, very nice. Okay, let me see. Is there anything else that wants to come through with these cards? Also something else coming through is to for someone out there, find this is a time in your life to maybe find some new friends. Maybe this goes with the other message, and joining that class will bring some new people into your life. Travel, maybe, if that's something you could do. For someone listening, maybe you're planning a trip or you're like on the fence about a trip. Your guides are saying go. This trip is going to bring in new friends, new experiences, but definitely some friends, or like friend or friendship that's going to be lifelong. So someone's guides are very much saying yes. You've already picked the hotel, you've already planned the route. Sounds like a road trip. Go. It's going to be great. Have lots of fun. Okay, hold on, a little more water. Okay, I just wanted to feel a little bit more into the big bad wolf card to see if there's anything else with that one. So, one message coming out with this, and this might, this feels like for someone else. And I'm sorry if this sounds harsh, but your guys just want me to say it how it is. You need to stop lying to yourself and others. This doesn't seem like this is like a terrible, like, have two families kind of lie. It's a small lie, but every time you do it to yourself or someone else, you are basically shutting down what you need. Uh, you are denying something that you deserve. And if you continue this pattern, especially with a specific person, the resentment you're already feeling is just going to build and build and build. And it's going to come out in a way that you aren't very proud of. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It's going to come out in a way that hurts someone that you don't really want to hurt that much. You just need to be honest for your own soul. So, hopefully that message reached. That sounded very specific. I hope that reached for whoever was needing that. I'm going to go ahead and move on from our inner child and step in. I realized last time I don't even think I got to the sacred geometry. Oh no, maybe I did. Anyway, in one reading recently, I totally forgot. I ended it without going to a certain card. So, oh, wow. And I almost shuffled the inner child cards again. So, a little bit of something in that. Actually, what I really feel from that is there's one more card that needs to come out of this. So we're going to jump back over. And there it is. All right, 5 of crystals. So on this one, there's a beautiful mandala. It's basically a wooden, kind of like a tree house, a wooden tree house, and there's a little gnome grandpa kind of fixing the mandala on the outside, which is at the top of the house. Okay, let's see here. What is going to come through with this? So it looks like it's a time. Hold on, give me just a second to see why this card wanted to jump out at the last minute when we were moving on. Okay. So, for who this message is for, you are a very creative person, extremely creative. You just have these amazing artistic gifts, musical gifts. I mean, I feel like you're kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to it. You can sing, you can dance, you can draw, you can paint. I mean, you just kind of have all the creativity, but you're being called to right now embrace those gifts a little bit more. Maybe they've been more of a hobby and less of a main focus in your life, but creativity is, I mean, is at the core of your existence. When you are, when you are, again, sorry. Okay. Don't know why that frequency alarm wanted to go off 3 times. Guess there's a message in that. All right. Third time's a charm, so maybe this is time it'll stick. Oh, maybe this is a message for who it's coming through. So maybe you have twice in the past tried to live through your creative gifts. Maybe you tried to sell your art, try to put out your music, and it didn't really go the way you were hoping. The message coming through is third time is the charm. So put it out there again. Put it out there again with a different energy. Maybe you've been posting or putting it somewhere, and when you're doing it, you're really in this place of like, oh my God, please someone notice this time. Please someone buy it. Please someone see me. And when you're posting or putting it out there with that kind of energy, you're really doing the opposite of what you're hoping to do. All of that like lack and desperation and need are blocking the flow. So if you're willing to, hold on, let me get some water. Okay. If you're willing to, before you post it, before you share it, before you put out the offer, take a few minutes, do some deep breaths, ground yourself, and then really feel or imagine the feeling when someone buys the song, when someone buys the art, when someone recognizes you for the amazing, creative, beautiful soul you are. Imagine that feeling. And as you're putting out your offer, you're putting out your work, whatever it is, put it out there with that feeling and see what changes. All right. I feel your angels and guides are telling you big things are going to change. It's a lot of the vibe you're putting out when you are putting yourself out into the world. It's kind of the opposite energy that you really are holding inside, and you want people to feel the truth, your authentic self, not the fear that is coming through. Okay. And let's see. Also, something that might help some of this, if you are a creative person feeling very stuck right now, maybe you're an author and you have writer's block, or every time you sit down to draw or paint, just nothing is happening. Nature, your guides, your higher guidance, they are calling you out to nature. And I know I get this message a lot from my guides, and I'm always like, oh, I can't go to the beach, or I can't what, I live nowhere near a beach. Sometimes it can be little. It doesn't have to be like a trip to the mountains, or we've got to go on a hike for 7 hours. It can be something like, I've just started going out. I live in an apartment, going down past the apartments a little bit, and there's like a giant office building across the street, and they have like a grassy area with like this little creek, I guess you would call it. Um, and I've just been going over there just to put my bare feet on the ground. Sure, it is not the beach and it is not a beautiful place in the mountains that I wish I was at, but sometimes you just have to get in the nature that you have and use what's there. And then that will lead to being able to have the abundance that comes in. So I could go to the beach, or you can go to other places in nature that you can be inspired by. But sometimes the inspiration just comes by connecting back to the earth and feeling that deep sense of, you know, oneness with all. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I'm glad that I pulled that card. And I really hope whoever that message was for, it reached you, because it can be really tough when you're putting yourself out there. Believe me, when I started this, I mean, this is a different type of creativity. It is. I am not an artist. I can't draw or paint or anything cool like that. So it is scary to put yourself out there for something that's like you've maybe kept private your whole life, like a side of you don't share. But that is kind of where we're at in the world right now. It's time for everyone to become their authentic selves and then live it unapologetically, which is not always easy to do, especially depending on how you grew up. I feel if someone listening right now went through a lot of what I went through, if you were told you were too much your whole life, too much. So you have really, I hate to say it like this, become a shell of who you once were just because of the constant too much. Just know you're not too much. You were never too much. I told a student once who was kind of going through this. I don't know if it was the right thing to say, but I remember saying, "Well, I'd rather be extra than basic." All right. So for all of you listening who have been told you were too much, oh well, we're gonna be extra and we're gonna be too much because we don't want to be basic. All right. So don't ever let anyone tell you you're too much, because that I think a lot of beautiful little souls get told that early on in life, and it leads to a lot of problems later in life because your whole life is spent dimming yourself down, trying to make yourself, I don't know, palatable. And as someone who's in their 40s and done that their whole life, especially in my job as a public school teacher, guess what? It never even worked. There were still plenty of adults that hated me and were rude to me for who knows why. Um, and it was so hard at the time. And then just looking back, like, you can't expect, oh, I don't know how to say it. I try to think of two animals that don't get along. Like you can't expect two things that aren't even in the same world almost to, you know, understand each other. So I didn't understand the teachers that love being mean to kids and like not letting them go to the bathroom and just seeming to have like get off so much on having all this power over children. That's never going to be the person that I am. That was never the teacher I was. And, unfortunately, people like me get pushed out because that's what they want in a public school. All right. So, what has come out, and sorry for the little like dive into myself, we've got the nonagon, which is a nine-sided shape, my geometry lovers. Then the circle. Oh, and what jumped out? Luna and the volcano, which is 35. So the first one that came out was the nonagon. And so, with the number nine is the number of completion. It's usually when things are wrapping up. So with this, let's see what wants to come through. Whoa. Oh, well, it's fine. Okay, so what keeps coming through for me is like cloud nine, cloud nine. So maybe let me get some water for someone here. You feel like you're on cloud nine or you're about to be on cloud nine. So, like I was saying, nine is the number of completion. So, for whoever this message is for, you are coming, a cycle in your life is wrapping up, a gateway is opening to something completely new for you right now. So, maybe this newness is the cloud nine. Um, oh, I just feel someone listening, you just got a new job, maybe, or your application for a house got approved, or maybe your application for some sort of program. So, congratulations. You definitely are stepping into your cloud nine cycle of life. Let's see. So then with our circle wholeness, I feel like this completion has brought you into a bigger sense of wholeness. Like your potential, you realized your potential, and now you are stepping into a place to fulfill it. The doors are opening. Ooh. And then, with volcanoes are very powerful, and they are usually a release of power unexpected. I mean, not always unexpected, but um, usually very kind of like shocking. Yeah. So, well, it happens in an instant. So with that, oh, geez, I just dropped the card. Okay. Expect change. And all of those cards just sort of fell as I was about to say that. So I don't want anyone to get worried. This change is going to kind of come in. I don't, what the one came through was like a ton of bricks, which doesn't sound very nice. I don't know how to say it. Let me see here. So it is going to be a thunderous change in your life, like a volcano erupting, but not in any sense of badness or anything to worry about. It is like an eruption of self. Um, so as this all goes together, you are completing a cycle. You have come into this greater sense of wholeness. And now that you have completed something, you've released something, you have stepped into this new gateway, there's even more change coming, but it's bigger and better. So, woof, it is powerful. Like I feel the energy coming in right now is like whoosh, but a good whoosh. So Just remember to breathe. You can handle anything coming. You are ready for this. That is the biggest message for you right now. You are ready for this. Don't get scared. Don't fall into old patterns of hiding. This is your time. This is your moment. Whew. I feel like that is a great place to end this reading. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. And just remember, live as authentically and unapologetically as you can. I love you all.